So fun fact here, August 26th, that was 2 days ago, is observed as Japan's Volcanic Disaster Preparedness Day. In case you were wondering, earlier this week, the Japanese government released an AI-generated video showing how a major eruption of Mount Fuji could affect the capital, Tokyo. Now, that went viral, both in Japan as well as around the world. Public reaction was swift, not only because of the apocalyptic scenes in the video, but also because of who created it. CNBC's travel editor, Monica Pitrelli, is here with that story. Good morning.
Good morning, Marty. That's right. So we see this video making the rounds, not because it's a clip from a big blockbuster movie coming out or it's the work of amateur AI enthusiasts. It's actually released by Tokyo Metropolitan Government to educate its residents about what to do should there be a major eruption of Mount Fuji. Now, if the goal was to raise awareness, by that metric, very successful. In fact, the video, quite daunting. It shows scenes of Tokyo. We can see it right here, this obviously massive plume and then volcanic ash raining down on the city. Now, a lot of people tend to think of a volcano erupting in terms of lava and magma spewing, but actually for Tokyo, it's the ash that poses the biggest threat. It would come down, in fact, in up to 1 to 2 hours reaching Tokyo, so not a lot of time to prepare. Could put about 10 centimeters of ash onto the city, which would ground transportation, halt flights, really make the city kind of ground to a halt. But some saying, look, this video, not just alarming, in fact, alarmist for residents that already live in a very tectonically volatile part of the world, residents that are used to having to deal with other natural disasters like tsunamis and earthquakes. But another big criticism, is the threat big enough to issue a report like this and a video compelling people to really stock up on food, water? Is it imminent? Now, we do know officials saying, yes, Mount Fuji is expected to erupt. However, there's no indication that it will be imminent, and so some people worrying. But disaster preparedness experts saying, look, you simply never know. So being prepared, not a bad thing. People need to know how to deal with this volcanic ash, which really for Tokyo would mean staying inside, wearing masks, and yes, having some food and water should this situation come to pass.
Okay, so raising awareness, well done, but why did they need to do this? I mean, how real is the threat? And, Japan is a country that just came out of this whole manga doomsday prediction month and really turning off a lot of tourists there. So why did they need to do this?
Well, that's, in fact, Sherry, why this video is making so many waves on the internet, because you do have people saying, look, the last time Mount Fuji erupted more than 300 years ago, right? This was in 1707. And it did, in fact, rain down ash across, it was Tokyo, but it was known as Edo at the time, for 2 weeks. Now, this did lead to farmland being destroyed, which resulted in starvation. The situation was pretty dire. But that was, in fact, hundreds of years ago. Do we need to be prepared at this level now? Another thing that people are questioning is how this could affect tourism. Now, we just saw over the summer Japan still dealing with the fact that people were scared away by this manga prediction. That's a Japanese comic book that said a natural disaster would affect Japan in July. Of course, that did not come to pass. We still saw a huge drop in tourists to Japan coming from some of its major source markets like South Korea, Singapore, even the Philippines. So this probably not going to help with that. But still, I think we're going to see city officials saying, look, tourism aside, that is not going to change the fact that we need to prepare our residents to know how to react should Mount Fuji erupt again.